o'clock p.m. here Eastern time in Boston, so I would like to get started. For those of you who are taking this class for the first time, my name's Allie. I am a doctor of physical therapy as well as a nationally certified Pilates instructor. I've practiced here in Boston over the last 5 years, and I own my own practice here. I also spend every Thursday with you guys teaching the Community Online Academy, and I have been since March. I am really glad to be here. I was away last week, so I missed you all, and I'm glad that we can join back in for this class here today. What we have for today's program is a 30-minute movement-based program. It's called Midday Stretch. And like I said, I designed this program to be stretching to kind of manage your spine health, your joint health when you have to spend most of your day sitting. And so these stretches can be done in your office chair. I'll also show you a couple of things you can do kind of using your office chair to get up and down to keep your body moving. So with that being said, there are some challenges. There are also some progressions, modifications that can be taken depending how your body feels. So if your body doesn't feel right with one of the stretches that we're doing, please take a modification. Please take that option so that you leave this class feeling a little bit better than you came into it. So we'll get started now sitting back in our chairs. You can see my chairs back behind me. I'm going to scoot back there. Just know that if you have a question, you can write it to me in the chat. I'm not going to read that during class, but I will save time at the end to answer questions. So feel free to put those questions in, and I will do my best to answer as many as I can at the end. So let's find a comfortable seated position in your chair so that your feet can be planted on the floor. So for someone who's a little bit shorter like me, you may need to scoot forward in your chair in order to get your feet firmly planted on the floor. And once you have that nice centering of your hips down on your chair, your feet down on the floor, you can choose to rest your hands on your knees or maybe down by your side, but take the comfortable resting position that feels good for your body and gently close your eyes. Like I said, for many of us, this is a midday stretch. It may be more towards the end of the day, depending where you're calling in from. But let's take a moment to just get connected with our body. I know we all have a lot of different things going on right now, a lot of stressors in our life. So let's take a moment to just touch base with us, with our body, and how we're doing right now in this moment. So let's scan your body from the very top of your head all the way down to the tips of your toes. And just know that there's no right or wrong for how your body feels right now in this moment. You're just here to notice it, to get connected to what your body needs in this moment. And as you scan your body, noticing those little differences from side to side, the spots of tension, maybe even spots of fatigue, just notice it and see if you can start to imagine your breath. And so our breath really is the foundation of all our movements, but it's also one of the most basic, important ways that we can manage neck pain, shoulder pain.
You won't turn the volume down. I'll just leave.
I apologize there. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that everyone stays on mute for this class. So let's go ahead and update that. My apologies there. And we'll get right back into that breath work. So as we tune into where your breath is going, I want you to imagine your lungs like a balloon and see if you can see that balloon in your mind start to inflate. And see, is that balloon inflating more on the right side, more on the top, more on the bottom? How is that balloon moving? See if you can really start to inflate that imaginary balloon evenly in all directions. And I want you guys to fill that balloon from the bottom up, meaning we start filling our air down in our belly and maybe the sides of our ribs, and then bringing up into our shoulders as that last little bit. So take our inhale breath in through our nose and an exhale breath out through the mouth. And when you exhale out, imagine that balloon kind of equally letting go of all that air. When we inhale, we fill the bottom of the balloon. So our belly, the sides of our ribs opening up, expanding. And then we exhale, flushing that air out, letting it go. As we're taking these breaths, see if you can sit up a little bit taller. The longer and taller our spine is, the more room we have and flexibility to be able to breathe down into our belly and our ribs. And we care so much about our breath being down in that bottom part of our lungs, because as we overbreathe with the top part of our lungs, our neck and our shoulders, that creates a lot of tension and stiffness through the neck muscles. And so if that's something you're dealing with, this is a very, very simple way to start to manage some of that tightness. We'll try 1 or 2 more breaths here. Exhaling out to let it go. And last time. And gently let that air go. You can blink your eyes open and let your arms hang down by your side. We're going to take this into a little bit of shoulder movement with some shoulder rolls. So if you've done my neck and shoulder class, you've done this one with me before. This is my favorite little trick that is simple. You can do this sitting at your desk to start to bring some movement into the neck and shoulder region. We're bringing some blood flow up there. Blood flow is a good thing. Blood is what contains our healing enzymes. It is also warm, and it's what heats our tissue. And so as we look to create changes in the length of our tissue to become more flexible, we want it to be warm. We're going to change direction of those circles now in the opposite. And you may find that that opposite direction is a little bit funny here. So that might feel a little bit tighter, a little more awkward. That's okay. Just work within what's comfortable for your body. See if you can continue to stack the spine as tall as it's ever been as you draw those circle rolls here. 2 more times. That's it. And 1 more time here, and allow the shoulders to rest down, hang heavy. Nice work. So we're going to take this now into a little bit of rotation, starting with our neck and our upper back. So open up your left arm out to the side, palm facing forward, your right arm up towards the ceiling, palm facing forward as well. So kind of like jazz hands here. We're going to stretch our fingertips wide and then externally rotate, twist to bring your right hand towards your left hand and then open back up. So we're turning like we're going to give ourselves a high five and opening back up. Now notice that I'm not slumping. I'm not letting my body sink forward. It's just my hands and my rib cage kind of spinning around. If you're a little tight in your neck, shoulders, and upper back, you might not be able to tap your hands together, and that's okay. Work within the range of motion that's comfortable for your body, and you can gently follow that right hand with your eyes. Now, if you have shoulder discomfort, you can also bend your right elbow and just aim your 2 elbows towards one another, and that may be a better option for your body here. Try 2 more just like this. And 1 more time here, and open up, and then shake it out. We're going to try that same thing on the opposite side. So now right hand reaches down towards the floor, left arm reaches up towards the ceiling, spread your fingertips wide, and then rotate, turning your left hand to tap your right and opening back out to the side. Exhale, turn, rotating to tap left hand towards the right and open on up, gently twisting, turning the chest down towards the floor and opening out to the side. Very nice. So as you're twisting to turn here, see if you can think about keeping the spine tall and continuing to breathe comfortably. There's not a right or wrong pattern of breath, but I do want you to make sure you are breathing and not holding your breath here. 2 more times. Good. Last time here. Open it on up and let your arms rest down by your side. We're going to take this now down into our low back and our hips. So one thing we know about sitting is that our hips tend to get really tight being in the seated posture all day. And hip tightness limits our range of motion with things like walking, running, stairs. And so when the range of motion in our hips are limited, it means our low back gets more stressed. So we're going to take this here now into the outside of our hips by crossing our left ankle on top of our right thigh. Once you're in this position, if this feels like too much for the outside of your left thigh, you're going to walk your right foot away from your body. If you want a deeper stretch, walk your right foot in nice and close to your body. Now notice how this kind of makes you feel like you want to sit slumpy. I want you to be able to sit really tall. So it's just a stretch to the outside of the hip. There's no compression happening through our spine. So once you're in that tall position, if you would like to deepen this stretch a little bit, you can tip and hinge your chest forward. So I'm not rounding and collapsing forward. I'm keeping that flat back. You could imagine your back like a stiff board, just kind of tipping forward. And you're not going to have to go very far to feel a pretty intense stretch in the outside of that left hip. Now, this should just feel like a stretch. So if it's pinching, it's painful, back off a little bit, see if you can readjust your posture and come back into it, holding just at the point where it's a gentle stretch. If you'd like to deepen and add to this stretch even a little bit more, you can take your left hand on top of your left knee and very gently push down towards the floor. So keep your chest tall, softly pushing down towards the floor, gaze is off in the distance in front of you. We'll try taking that deep belly breath here, opening up and expanding your rib cage, and exhale to let it go. Now we'll take this right into a spine twist. So you're gonna cross your left leg on top of your right one. From here, I'll take the outside of my right hand to my legs, and I'm gonna reach my left hand back behind me and gently look towards that hand. In this position, again, it's super easy to get slumpy. I want you to try and sit tall. So it's like your spine is just spiraling and almost using that spiral to lift up a little bit taller. If this is too much for your left shoulder, you can rest your hand down on the armrest or even down on the chair next to you. So work within what's comfortable for your body. If you'd like to deepen this stretch, you're going to take your right hand and actively push it against your legs. So using that leverage to twist a little bit deeper here. Okay, and again, this should be comfortable. If it's not, just back off a little bit, keep your chest tall and drop your shoulders down away from your ears. We'll try one more breath in here. And then come back through the center. We're gonna rinse that out with a gentle forward fold. So walk both legs open, wider than hip distance. Stack one hand on top of the other. You're gonna dive and reach your spine forward, maybe even walking your hands out onto the mat if you are able to. And if you're not, that's okay. We're just finding that soft forward bend here. Take a gentle stretch, breath in through the nose and out through the mouth as we walk back on up, and we'll set up for that second side. So gather your feet back together, about hip distance apart, and we're gonna cross the right ankle on top of our left thigh this time. Once again, you can minimize the stretch by walking your left leg away from your body or deepen the stretch, bringing your left foot in nice and close. And know that it's normal to have a side to side difference. I don't know if you can see, this side is much tighter for me. So I'm just gonna kind of find that sweet spot where it is a gentle stretch, but it's not super painful. Lifting the spine tall, you can almost imagine flaring your tailbone back behind you to maintain a neutral spine position. And then once you have that neutral spine, you can softly tip forward, even letting your arms kind of hang down by your side if that feels comfortable for your body. Lifting tall through the top of the head, relaxing your shoulders, and just gently breathing here. Gaze over the top of the computer. Deep breaths in here through the nose and out through the mouth. If you'd like to deepen the stretch even further, this time right hand on the right knee and softly pushing down to the floor. So it's not a hard push, you're just maintaining steady pressure through your hand down to the floor. And that's just gonna change the angle of the fibers that you are getting deep in that right hip. We'll try one more breath here with that gentle pressure down if you would like. And then we'll go into the spine twist. So allow your legs to cross one on top of the other. We're gonna take now the left hand to the outside of your legs, reaching your right arm back behind you. You can gently twist and look towards that right side. As we said last time, you can always modify with your hand on the armrest or the chair next to you. You can also increase this stretch by pushing your left hand into your legs as leverage to twist and rotate a little bit farther towards the right. And see if you can notice the spine's tendency to want to slump here. Sit up really tall. That'll deepen your stretch a little bit. Think of adding a little tuck to the chin and gently gazing over your right shoulder here. We'll try another big deep breath in here and a deep breath out to let it go. Okay, so we're gonna come up into standing now. We're gonna do kind of a squatting type motion. So don't be afraid if you feel like squats are something not in your practice. I have some options to progress, but I think it's really important that we get out of our chairs and we get moving a little bit. So look down at your feet. They should be parallel to one another. I want you to feel your feet pushing down into the floor, and then imagine your nose going over your toes. So first movement, we're gonna rock forward, get your nose over your toes, stand up tall, reach your fingertips tall up to the ceiling, and then gently sit back down into your chair. Again, nose tips forward over your toes, reach, stand up tall, and tip your arms forward. Keep your nose over your toes as you sit back down. Now, if this is too much movement for your legs, you can come up to that tall standing and then just practice sitting down as far as you feel comfortable and then standing back up. If you are comfortable going all the way down to the chair, go ahead and do so here to make this a bigger movement. So again, we're working on blood flow here. We want to warm up our tissue as we work through some of these stretches. It's also really important to get our body standing throughout the day. That is our body's most natural, most stacked posture. So we're pushing out of that sitting posture, standing up as tall as we've ever been, and softly sitting back down. You can also challenge yourself here by, rather than sitting down, just kind of tapping the chair and coming right back on up. That's it. We'll try 3 more like this. Reach tall, nose goes over the toes as we sit back down. 2 more, push into your feet like you're leaving a footprint and gently sit back down. 1 more time here, nose over the toes, reach tall and softly sit back down. Take a moment's rest. We'll take 1 deep breath in here and a deep breath out. Now we're gonna build on that standing movement with a little bit of twisting. So if that felt like too much, you can always do the twist sitting down here in the chair, but I encourage you guys to get up if you're able to. So we're gonna try that again here. Nose over to the toes, reach up tall this time, add a gentle twist, rotate to the left, reach both arms up to the ceiling, add a gentle twist, rotate to the right, both arms up to the ceiling, and we sit down again. We let our nose tip forward over the toes, stand up tall, gentle twist to the left, reach both arms up tall, a gentle twist to the right, reach both arms up tall, nose tips forward over the toes, and we sit down. Nose forward, we push into the feet, stand tall, gentle twist to the right, left, reach arms up and gentle twist to the right. So notice that my feet are not moving. I'm turning my spine, but keeping my feet firmly grounded into the floor below me, adding in that nice and easy spine stretch and twist here. 1 more time like this. We sit down, we come up, reach tall, add a gentle stretch to the side, reaching up tall overhead, turn, a gentle stretch to the side, come up tall, and turn and drop your arms down. Okay, so now we're up in standing. So one thing we know over the course of the day if we sit is that with the dependency of our legs, we get a little bit of pooling of the blood down in our feet, our ankles, even our knees. So we want to get that blood pumping again, and we're going to do some calf raises here. So look down at your feet. Your feet should be parallel to one another, and you should feel all 5 of your toes pushing into the floor. Once you have that strong base of support, start to lift and lower up and down on your toes. Nothing fancy here, but I want you guys to think about lifting and lowering from a sheet of glass, okay? That glass is really delicate, so you want to be gentle and slow as you lower your heels back down. That is what our calves are designed to do. It's shock absorption, and it's really a good way to protect our joints, our knees, our hips, our back when we're walking, when we're running, when we're doing stairs. So be really gentle and soft, and you're going to start to feel the burn pretty quickly in those calf muscles. Now, I want you to notice if your body is compensating a little bit by rocking, using momentum back and forth. You should be lifting up nice and smooth so that The rest of your body position is really unchanged. It's just your ankles lifting and lowering. Now, I know you feel the burn. We're going to keep going. These are endurance muscles. They can do it. Notice if all your body weight is on the outside of your toes or the inside of your toes. Spread your toes like a fan. Keep lifting and lowering. 5 more. You've got this. And down. For 4. Lower down. Last 3. Good, guys. 2. Last time, lower down, and you can shake it out. Take a little rest. Whew. So we're going to stretch out those muscles next with a little roll down. So I'll turn to the side so you guys can see. Once again, feel your feet grounded down into the floor. Reach your arms up tall overhead. Take a full body stretch up and start to dive your spine forward like there's this fence in front of you that you're trying to roll up and over, letting your head hang heavy. Take an inhale breath in here through the nose and an exhale breath out through the mouth. Push down into your feet and start to roll the spine back up with your head, neck, and shoulders being the last thing to lift. Inhale. Exhale, dive. Roll the spine forward, letting the head hang heavy, pushing down into the feet. Soft bend into the knees if you need. And push down into your feet, restack, roll the spine up tall, restacking to lift the fingertips up tall. This is our last time here. Imagine your spine like the shape of a candy cane, rolling, diving forward, letting your head hang heavy, soft bend into the knees. In this setup, you can shake your head yes and no, just letting go of tension through the upper back. Take a full inhale breath into the back side of your ribs. And then as you exhale, start to restack slow with control, coming all the way back on up. And allow the arms to drop down by your side. Nice work there, guys. So we're going to take this back into the chair in a seated position to take a look at a little bit of wrist mobility. So I had a lot of requests last time about some wrist stretches. We're just going to do a couple brief ones here. As I know you guys tend to do a lot of typing, a lot of time on the phone. So first thing we're going to do is interlace your hands with one another. And we're going to start to draw a figure 8, okay? So kind of gently rocking your hands in and out within the comfortable range of motion that works for your body. You might hear a bunch of cracking and popping in your hands. We have a lot of really small bones that make up our wrist and our hands, so that's okay as long as that's not super painful. So we're rolling the wrist in our figure 8. Now, little trick, I want you guys to do your figure 8 backwards. And this is gonna feel really funny. It's gonna feel very awkward. That's because we have a dominant hand and a non-dominant hand. And we're now probably asking your non-dominant hand to do a kind of what we would call a fine motor skill. So it feels a little bit funny here, but it's also a really good way to get into the stretches that we don't normally do for our wrists here. Very nice. So just softly rolling those out. We'll try 3 more and 2 more. And last time, and then just shake out your hands. Next thing we're gonna do is take our 2 palms, place them together right in front of our face, and I want you to lift your elbows out to the side, keeping your palms together, and I really mean the heels of your hand. Pull down with your elbows as low as you can go, and then push on up. Pull down, trying to keep the heels of the hand pushing together. And you'll find that moment when they want to separate, keep pushing your hands towards one another. And as soon as they start to separate, reach up to the ceiling again. And you may find, wow, I can feel it's always my right hand that's separating. So that just gives you a little bit of data as to which of your wrists is a little bit stiffer. And this is an extension of our wrist. 3 more. Pull down for 2. And 1 more time here. And then we'll shake it out. We're gonna do the opposite, which feels really funny. It's much less smooth than the one that we just did, which is to put the backs of our hands together. And the easiest way to set this up, I think, is to point your fingertips downward, bring the backs of your hands together, and then flip them to point up. Okay, so already it might feel like a stretch. It might feel really weird. You're gonna reach your fingertips up and then pull down, trying to keep the backs of the hands together. So this one is going to feel more limited. It's going to feel different. This is sort of flexion and rotation of our wrist. Some people might feel this in their shoulders as well. So try and open up the front of the shoulders, keeping your gaze in front of you, softly pulling down and up. 4 more times. And 3. Last 2. And once more there, and then shake it out. Nice job, guys. So we're going to finish our class with our breath work just like we started. So I want you to make sure that your feet are grounded onto the floor. You can feel even weight underneath both of your sit bones in your chair beneath you. Stack your spine up nice and tall. We'll take an inhale breath, reach the fingertips up to the ceiling, and exhale breath out to release. Again, another inhale breath in, lift, get tall, and an exhale breath out to let it go. Last time here, inhale breath, reach, exhale, release. And that concludes the movement-based part of our class. So what I hope you guys took from this program are a couple little things that you can integrate throughout your day. It would be lovely if you could do this whole 30-minute program every single day, but I know that may not be realistic on some days. So I hope you take little bits and pieces and you can mix them in throughout your day. What we can spend our last couple minutes doing is answering any questions that have come up. So I'm going to get a little closer so I can read those.